Welcome, everyone, to this brand new edition of 5 Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside my co-host, Balor Club member, Albert Sita. Want to thank you all.
OG, dog.
OG, the Prince. Want to thank you all for tuning in this week, whether it be on audio format, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Podomatic, or if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. We appreciate you giving us your 30 minutes or so, maybe 45. Got a lot of wrestling to talk about.
It's wrestling, so it might be up to 50
Might be up to 50. This week, we got a lot to talk about. We got the a surprising release, or it depends who you talk to, maybe not surprising, of a prominent WWE superstar. We're going to talk about Uriah Hall's disappointing turnout on his fight night. We're also going to preview UFC 265, a big-time interim heavyweight matchup, and some other things in between here. But before we do that, I want to give a big shout out to Foxhound Fuel. Go to foxhoundfuel.com. Train hard, stay sharp. Get yourself one or all three of the height of their formulas. They have a ready workout, natural pre-workout, hydration during workout formula, and a recovery natural post-workout formula. All three are no artificial flavors or sweeteners, no jittery feeling, all great tasting ingredients. Go to foxhoundfuel.com. Get the most out of your work hard, train hard, stay sharp. Use promo code 5MMA for 25% off your order. That's 5MMA, the number 5MMA for 25% off your order. And a big thank you to Wildbar. Natural, paleo, vegan, non-refined sugars, non-GMO, gluten-free, nutrient-dense nutrition bars. 3 great flavors. Albert's holding a cherry right there in his hands.
Which is my favorite. I tried the pineapple one and the cherry one, and dude, I'm in love with this cherry one.
Yeah, it's good, right?
Good recovery too. Good. And I'll just put one in my mouth. I know that's true. I found out you pull it out, and there's little grooves, so you can get little pieces.
Oh, it's like almost like pre-cut, right?
Mm-hmm. Just little detail I want.
It's the details that these companies, that Foxhound Fuel and Wildbar, do that put them over the top. So go to wildbar.co, enter promo code 5RoundMMA15. That's FIVE round MMA, the number 15 for 15% off your order. Again, it's natural, paleo friendly, vegan friendly, no refined sugars, non-GMO, gluten free, great flavor and great tasting. A big thank you to Wildbar and Foxhound Fuel. Albert, how you doing, man, before we get started on the rounds?
I'm doing good.
I'm going to ask you, man, trade deadline, L.A., making noise. Not only the Dodgers and the Lakers. So the Dodgers pull the trigger on a big-time trade, get Max Scherzer and Trey Turner from the Washington Nationals for a bunch of prospects. Your thoughts on that?
I think the Dodgers got a good deal there. I think they're trying to show the fans and everybody else that they're in it to win it. So it's championship or bust, because you're getting a 37-year-old pitcher who you're taking a lot of risk. And I heard those prospects they gave up are true prospect. These guys were going to be aces and whatnot. So in reality they gave up a lot, but I think they're just doubling down on their season, saying look, we're not just okay with making playoffs. We're trying to make a championship run again. We're trying to get that back-to-back. And as a fan, I respect that. You got to go all in.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that, honestly, worst-case scenario, he would have went to an opposing team in the same division.
Padres or Giants.
Yeah, so why not take him up on that? Luckily for the Dodgers, dude, whoever's in the guys doing the development and doing the scouting and they just been killing it every year. So I'm not even too worried. I'm pretty sure they're going to find some other stud I think in a couple of years.
For those fans who are kind of worried, this is just a win now scenario, which is good, but also why are you giving up so much on your future? We should pretty much know now Andrew Friedman does everything. It's calculated, right? It's all calculated risks. They're not just pull a trigger on an emotional thing. He's probably one of the most analytical brands out there. So you got to figure, he probably thought, okay, we could afford to lose these prospects, and the short term, or maybe even next year, the next 2 years with Scherzer, he can't give us this. I also think it's Trey Turner is who they really wanted, because he plays the same position as Corey Seager, but how often is Corey Seager hurt?
Yeah,
a lot.
I can see
he's hurt a lot. And let's say when Corey Seager's contract runs out, he wants more money. But bro, when you're healthy, you're one of the best. But when you're hurt, which is a lot, what does that leave us? So
I honestly think his price tag is going to be half of what Mookie's was. And I don't know if the Dodgers are willing to pay that. But I know for a fact there's a lot of teams out there that are willing to pay for that for Corey Seager. So I think it's gonna be a high price tag.
You gotta stay healthy, man. You gotta stay healthy in baseball.
But as far as the Lakers, I think that is one of the worst trades ever.
It's like, so they get Russell Westbrook,
and I'm not even talking about the most recent trade. I'm talking about let's go way back. All right, because they could have gave up Kuzman instead of Lonzo Ball on that trade to the Pelicans. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm over it already. They did what's best for the team. They needed AD. I get it. Mm-hmm. They shipped the wrong guy.
They could have swapped. They could have
easily put in Kuzman in there and kept Lonzo. Yeah. Right? And it would have made more sense now. Now they
need a ball handler. They don't have a ball handler.
And they get what Russell Westbrook is not. First of all, he is not known to be a 3-point assassin, which is exactly what the Lakers needed, and they need a ball handler. The guy, the only ball handler, the only thing that Westbrook knows is how to hog the ball, right? You know, he's the one that pushed out Kevin Durant out of Thunder.
Yeah.
So I don't understand this. And then I read some stupid thing saying that AD and LeBron all met together, and they said that they're going to put their egos aside when the season. Stop it!
Not going to happen.
LeBron, you're not going to ask for the ball. LeBron's not going to. AD's not going to crowd up the middle. My gosh, it's horrible. Look, I get the people that are like excited because they hear Russell Westbrook and they think it's MVP from the Thunder, or whatever. It's not going to work. Yeah. If they don't get an elite point guard, I'm not even going to check in. Like, honestly, you guys can eat up the hype. Lakers ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, and I think
in all honesty, if they don't figure out that point guard,
they're going to lose Dennis Schroeder too. He's already. I think
I'll lose him. They can't afford him. They shouldn't even picked him up, dog. I thought that fool was trash.
There's no point guard. So yeah, but name wise, it's a sexy move. But on the court thing,
on paper, it looks like the Yankees, But come on.
I like Frank Vogel, but I don't think he's able to handle this team. Not with Westbrook, not with LeBron, not with AD. It's going to be fun to watch. If one thing we've known, and fans know about this too, it's the Lakers bring drama, and sometimes the drama is more entertaining than what's actual on the court. So we'll get that here for sure with those three happening. So, but still big news for LA sports fans. So making moves. The franchise is making moves. Again, we don't thankfully we don't go 50 years. Championships like the city of Milwaukee does, but
5 years and we're getting restless.
That's what we're getting antsy, man. It's too long. My kids are going to see. My kids haven't seen the championship.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's switch gears now. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about. It's a mix of professional wrestling and mixed martial arts. So round number 1, Albert Cita. This past Saturday, the professional wrestling world was sent shockwaves when the one and only Husky Harris was released from his WWE contract. He was future endeavored.
You're trying to get heat, huh?
Or if you better known as Bray Wyatt or real name Mike Rotunda, or the Fiend or whatever you want to call him, Firefly. Whatever. Your initial thoughts and reactions to when you first heard this. You broke the news to us in our group chat.
Yeah, because it literally just. I stroll through Instagram a lot.
Yeah.
And it just started popping on my feed. Usually, when you get those fake news, you see maybe one or whatever. But when you see like a good amount, that there's some water in there. There's a baby in the water,
especially for like wrestling news, right?
Yeah. And so then I start looking. Once I start seeing that, I go to my normal. I'm not going to give them out, but I have some sources I go to that usually are kind of reliable. And if it's 2 out of 3, it's usually right.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was shocked, but the more like everything else, I was more shocked just because as a person that collects action figures, he was killing it in the fig business.
Merchandise.
His toy was always a hot seller.
T-shirts.
T-shirts hot seller. Masks a hot seller. The belt. Everything he did was a hot seller. So in that aspect, I was shocked, especially WWE, who is very merch heavy. It didn't really make sense to me. But then when you think about it, his price tag was probably high. And I think for that price tag, you need a megastar. You need a Hulk Hogan, a John Cena, a Roman Reigns. And I think he never really reached that full potential. I think he did a perfect job getting himself over because I don't want to give anybody else credit but Bray Wyatt. He revolutionized himself more than once and got over more than once. And credit to that, because that's a difficult thing to do. Not just think of a successful character, but do it multiple times. The problem is, I always thought he lacked in-ring work. Like, I have never in my life been like, dude, did you see that Bray Wyatt match? Like,
yeah, I can't even think of one
that killed it
off the top of my head. Like that's a go-to match. Like, show me Bray Wyatt's best work. I can't even think of one. And if you guys think one, please leave in the comment section. I can't think of a great Bray Wyatt match, either back at the Fireflies Funhouse or the Bray Wyatt family or the Fiend. I can't think of one off the top of my head for the life of me. Like, if you put a gun to my head, pick a good match. I'm dead, bro. I'm dead.
Yeah, I can only recall some of the gimmick matches, but because they were so gimmick heavy.
Yeah.
But I don't recall the actual match. So I'm not too surprised, especially with WWE. But then it's weird because I guess only Vince knows the vision for WWE, because I really don't get it. I don't know if it's like they're trying to show themselves as the most profitable, because that's how you do it. You know, you maximize what you bring in and lower your expenses, so you try and perceive yourself as the most profitable. But in the long run, it doesn't seem like he's doing the right stuff.
Well, that's what goes to the rumors of them they're going to sell to NBC because they want to maximize profitability, right?
Yeah.
But also, I think people forget that this dude has a report. Vince McMahon has a report to investors. So if they're coming in a loss at a quarter, well, that's because we invested a lot more in the cinematic style and pyrotechnics to get over Bray Wyatt, and his contract to what he's making merch is almost even. If you can't break even in a business, you're gonna go under, right? So it's that profitability, and I think people really forget that this dude. The whole creative process is done for Vince McMahon. It's been done for a long time, pretty much since they went public, right? It's all about profitability because he has a board of investors he has to report to.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, that call? We're going to talk about later on in the show, the investors call. The dude doesn't answer to people. Like, can you imagine Vince McMahon answering to people?
Yeah.
He has to.
Yeah.
Because they invested their money into it. So I think that gets lost on the internet wrestling community. Like, oh, this is so stupid. This is why AEW is the best. They killed their superstars. It's all money and cents.
You brought up actually a really good point, which I think a lot of people don't put into consideration, because Bray Wyatt's so gimmick heavy. There's a lot of gimmicks involved that cost money.
He's a high production character.
It's a high production value. It's like, even take Game of Thrones, which one of the most successful series and was on HBO. They kept cutting back their money, and then it got to a point was, do we want a CGI wolf or a CGI giant?
Yeah.
And they had to choose between, But it didn't. And in a way, it still hurt the story. But at the end of the day, like, that stuff adds up.
Yeah.
And if he is gimmick heavy. So if you think about it, you're saving not just on the wrestler, but all that stuff you have to buy for the wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine? Like, I remember when Game of Thrones was everywhere, is everywhere still. And the fact that HBO was complaining it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Like, when you see T-shirts and people wearing T-shirts and, like, toys and
they're
stuff.
killing it.
But at the end of the day, it's still too expensive to put on.
See? Yeah. See, you brought up a good point. I didn't even think about that.
So, I don't know. Well, best of luck to Bray Wyatt wherever he goes.
I'm sure, to tell you the truth, and I keep going back to it, all these, like, more artsy wrestlers should really dip their toes in New Japan. Because, man, Japan eats that stuff up, bro. And it's the perfect place because, like, I feel there's, like, I think New Japan does do filtering. But for the most part, they want you to bring it.
Yeah.
The more violent, the more they accept that kind of stuff. And they appreciate the art for what it is. So some of these wrestlers, I think, are better off in New Japan first. Even though Bray Wyatt will have success in Impact, AEW, Ring of Honor. It doesn't matter. I think it has
NWA, wherever he goes.
But I feel like as an art, I think New Japan's a perfect spot.
But also, too, like, none of those companies you mentioned have the production value to do what he probably wants to do. It's gonna he's gonna have to reinvent himself and go back to the gritty. Like, think of it like a director who goes, like, from a big budget director to, like, independent kind of booking, independent, filmmaking.
I want to see Michael Bay do an indie house and
exactly.
see how good it looks.
So I think too, and people were complaining he's never got used right. Well, now is the opportunity to go and see. Like we kept saying, are you mad that the WWE released him, or you should be more happy now that they have the freedom to do whatever they want?
Even though before release, I thought the best version of Bray was the family. Like when he did the whole like. He could be a sociopath and all that stuff.
He got the hold in his hands, a cult leader. Dude, he gets in people's minds.
I thought that was
my favorite part.
Yeah, that was the best version I saw. And then I wasn't too fan of the Fiend or whatever. I understand Joker's so awesome.
Yeah.
But there's just too many copycats now. I think
me,
that Joker thing is.
Yeah. I was all in on the Fiend until his first match with the Finn Balor's at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
and there's that spot at the end of the match where the Fiend literally snaps Finn Balor's neck, and that's the match. Okay, so we just saw a live murder in the middle of the ring, and that's it. But that goes to the character not transforming into the actual match, because at the end of the day, the bell's got to ring, and you got to go in the ring. You got to wrestle in front of people. That's essentially what professional wrestling is. It's in the ring. So, but he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. Do whatever he wants. So that's it for round number 1. We're gonna switch gears, talk about UFC Fight Night and the disappointing performance in Uriah Hall. Where does he go from here? Coming up next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 2. We're switching gears. Talked about UFC Fight Night. Also, Bellator had a card too. AJ McKee's new champion. He choked out Pitbull.
AJ McKee, bro.
Yeah, but
no joke.
Also goes to the fact that how Bellator is horrible at promoting their stuff. That was in Los Angeles. I had no idea until the night up. It was at the Forum.
Legit, I was really mad. Bellator just frustrates me beyond belief. Not only was it here in California, which was AJ's hometown.
Yeah.
It was for $1 million, right?
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing that's going on the internet? Is fighter salary.
Yeah.
They're giving a top of whatever they're making. On top of that, they're getting $1 million bonus guaranteed. And all I saw was the day before and the day of on my feed.
Yeah.
They did a horrible job, bro.
Come on, Bellator.
And with AJ winning it, I feel like they need to go all in on that kid, especially now that he's in position to be a two division champion, because he has to run it back with Pitbull, but they can run it back in 155.
155.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy if you think about it, right?
But
that's a cool story. But Bellator they're gonna.
I think they need to put all the guy's a good talker too.
Yeah,
has a awesome story. They need to put all their eggs on that basket and really promote the guy.
Yeah,
dude.
they really need. Showtime needs to invest in something.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
they need to go out, man. Come on.
Yeah. So UFC Fight Night was main event in a middleweight matchup between Uriah Hall and Sean Strickland. I think Uriah Hall is ranked number 8. Strickland's just outside of the top 10. Coming in, this was really a kind of opportunity for Uriah Hall to maybe push himself into the top 5 or get
after that crazy Chris Weidman.
Yeah, and then he knocked out Anderson Silva. So not exactly 2 guys who are at the top of the division, but still notable opponents. But Uriah Hall does what Uriah Hall does and lays an egg and gets beat up for 5 rounds. And Sean Strickland is now poised to enter the top 10 and maybe even the top 5 for his next fight. So to me, it's like whenever Uriah Hall is expected to be great or do something spectacular, he kind of freezes in the moment and doesn't deliver. It's when he's least expected to do something good or spectacular, he delivers. And I don't know if it's like a mental thing, but it's kind of been that way since day one, because he was hyped up as the next Anderson Silva coming out of the Ultimate Fighter season. Remember? Dana White said while they were filming, we have a guy here who nobody wants to fight anymore because that's how good he is. And then that head spin knockout was like the most spectacular thing you've ever seen.
The most scariest thing you've seen in combat sport. You thought the guy was seriously hurt.
Yeah, you're right, Hall. He's built like $1 million. Yeah, he's great physique. He looks intimidating.
Great guy too. Yeah. Like when he talks on the mic, very intelligent. He has a good presence to him. But
and then what happens? The finale.
Kevin Gastelum
comes out of nowhere,
gasses him out, bro.
And then it hasn't really been the same for Uriah Hall, right?
Yeah,
it's been like disappointing. Oh, surprise! And then just super inconsistent.
So he loses to Costa, which. Looking back, I mean, who would have known Costa was going to rise where he rise, right?
That's 3 years
ago. But then he goes on a vicious little tear here, and on the way to this tear, he puts Silva in his win column. I mean, this guy is white hot. Even though the Chris Weidman one was the whole broken leg thing, whatever, it still gave him a little notch up there. So, like we said, like Uriah Hall was again put in the position to take over, or not. I wouldn't say take over, but at least. Fulfill the hype that was made in the Ultimate Fighter. And after this performance, I don't even know. Like,
go to the rankings really quick for the middleweight division.
Let me check this out here. Let's go to rankings.
How many clicks does it take? And then middleweight.
So where you at? Oh no, it's my Izzy.
So basically, coming into fight, Uriah Hall was number 8. Strickland was number 11. So I would assume now Strickland's at least in the top 10. Probably, right?
I mean,
I don't know why Darren Till's ranked so high. He hasn't fought in forever.
Seriously, man. I mean, he can run it back with gas some, but like, I don't even know if I want to see
Is it
that.
me, or is this middleweight division looking kind of light now?
It's looking really light.
It's
really light.
It's two guys. It's Izzy and Robert Whitaker. That's it, right? And
Yes.
they're scheduled to fight each other. After that, what's going to happen? I think Paulo Costa's ruined himself now. This dude is... we see people kind of see him for what he is. He's going to get gassed out. He's overpricing himself out now, so people are kind of putting him in the back burner. Jared Cannonier, Vittori's been beat twice by Izzy.
It kind of looks like the heavyweight division a couple years ago, where everybody kind of beat themselves. This guy beat that guy beat that guy, this guy beat that guy. But then you look at the top, it doesn't really matter because the champion beat all those guys.
I mean, the champion's even more. He's more worried about going up to get the 205 championship belt than the 135.
I mean, but you can't blame Izzy. Like, what gets you excited over here? Just the rematch against Whitaker, and then what?
And even Sean Strickland, to his credit, he beat Uriah Hall, but they asked him, "Who do you want to fight next?" I don't care. I just want to fight in the UFC. Like, okay, dude, like.
I mean, perfect time to call out Paulo, anybody,
Kevin
Jared
Gastelum,
Brunson, anybody.
So I don't know. Maybe that's his gimmick. He doesn't care. Just fight. I'm like the gunslinger. Put whatever you guys want in front of me.
I've always been a huge Uriah Hall fan. I like his fighting style. I don't know. Maybe he has one more in him. One more. So we'll see.
Crack that top 5. That's it for round number 2. We're going to switch gears, talk about professional wrestling coming up next. And Vince McMahon's... Or no, we were talking about that. Yeah, Vince McMahon.
Yeah, the press conference.
Press conference. Yep, coming up next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 3. Timer started. We're going to switch gears, talk about professional wrestling again. More specifically, Vince McMahon answering questions to his investors. Investor call. I think they do every quarterly, I think. And this is a hot topic for... the dirt sheets, and they call in, they listen.
And you're allowed to ask whatever you want.
If I got my money in your company, you answer to me, Vince McMahon. Okay? You answer to me.
I only have fractions of the share to Tesla, so I never get to the part where you get to ask questions.
Yeah.
But my goal one day in life is I can ask Elon Musk something, but...
Where we at, bro? Well, like we said earlier in round number 1, Vince McMahon has a lot of people to answer to, and just because he's the boss doesn't really mean he's the boss. Yeah, he has the final say, he has the most shares, but a lot of people have their money invested in WWE and they want to know what's going on. More specifically, what is WWE doing to hold back Tony Khan and AEW? Because AEW is on the heels of a takeover, guys. It's going to happen. But to Vince McMahon, not competition. Not even close to what WCW was. He even said that too, that it's not the same level of competition as WCW was in his eyes. Your thought on that statement, and is he correct?
He's 100% correct. If we're taking... What now?
What a WWE mark.
Now
you're such a WWE mark.
Now and from the past, it's true though. It's true. WCW.
I'm taking your toys. I'm taking your AEW toys.
What's Eric Bischoff's podcast called?
Like 83 weeks.
83 weeks. It's called 83 weeks because they dominated WWE for 83 weeks. Not just in one age group, not just for 1 week. It was 83 weeks. They had these guys on their heels, and they're fighting for the same sponsorships and stuff like that. And I saw Slim Jim and stuff on WCW side, so I get what he says when it's not the same. And let's keep it real, it's not. And as of now, it's not close at all. But with that said, I will say I do think CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are going to move the needle. I don't know if it's going to be enough to they're flipping back and forth, but I know it's going to get them that much closer. I really do think Daniel Bryan and CM Punk are going to really push this to the $1 million. I want to say the $1 million viewership mark. $1 million, just 1 million views is going to be the average on the regular. I really do think they can get them there because again, we have friends from high school, friends from college stuff that they like wrestling, but they're not diehards. I'm getting a lot of text messages and I'm getting a lot of stuff on social media of people that I know that like wrestling. All of a sudden talking about it or asking me, hey, dude, did you see CM Punk sign? Did you see that Daniel Bryan? So I know we're just a very small little whatever, but usually you can that's how surveys work. Like just in my bubble, it feels like it's percolating. and it's people that aren't always viewers. So I do think the CM Punk, Daniel Bryan's going to get them closer, but Vince isn't wrong what he said. It's 100% true.
Yeah, it's like there's no competition because I'm not forced to watch AEW or WWE like I was on Monday night. I'm not never flipping back channels. I could comfortably watch Monday Night Raw, Tuesday NXT, and Wednesday Night Dynamite, and Friday Night SmackDown, and Thursday Impact, Friday SmackDown. They all fit in my schedule. I'm not forced to go back and forth, right? Even with on demand. Even if there wasn't the same night, I could record one, go back to the other, and guess what? That still counts as viewership for both companies. So it doesn't even matter. So this fact is, I really do think it's the dirt sheets and the fans who are thinking
playing it up as a war, right?
Vince is like, I got the numbers here, man. We're getting paid to do basically private shows in Saudi Arabia. We got this $1 billion deal with NBC to stream on Peacock. We got a deal with Fox, a deal with USA Network. What's the competition? They're selling more, quote unquote, selling more T-shirts than us, basically.
And they are. They're killing it in the T-shirt.
Come on now, but I mean, what's the real competition?
Yeah.
In the eyes of creativity, maybe, yeah. Are the wrestlers who are saying this is such a better place to be? I'm so happy. Vince is saying, "Here you go." I don't like. There's no for me right now. They're just fighting over the same viewers.
Yeah, and that's the real issue there. And if you're fighting for the same viewers, but you're on two separate days, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But clearly there's more people watching WWE, and it's probably that weird demographic of maybe the younger and super older audience.
Like, did you see that video of that person posted when Cena came back and his little son was like maybe elementary kid?
They're doing it again.
He had his T-shirt on. I was like so excited to see John.
It's
Cena.
because they got one of them marks to go for Cena when he was a kid. And now he has a kid.
I'm just saying,
and he's making him a Cena mark.
I'm just saying,
what an ugly cycle.
I've never seen a little kid excited to see Cody Rhodes before, right? So it's like, but it's not. Unfortunately, it's not. And like you said, the best thing we can hope for is that Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, they go to AEW. They are doing things that are innovative, are cool to see. That's like, hey, that gets like you said, the numbers kind of trickling up. Like you said, even though it's on a different night, why is AEW doing 2 million on a Wednesday and Raw is only doing 1.2, 1.3?
Exactly.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
Let's step it up on Raw, or let's step it up on, Rampage is doing 1.5 million, while SmackDown's only doing 1.3. What's going on here? And then the level rises. So
I'll give you a quick crazy little fact, just because my son, who's 3, right? Mm-hmm. His favorite wrestler is Drew McIntyre, which that kind of threw me off when I saw him pop for him so much. He loves Daniel Bryan, right? And these are all WWE guys, but he would sit down and watch all of AEW, but he will not sit down and watch all of Raw. So it got me thinking, like, AEW is a better wrestling show because, in WWE, he doesn't really understand what they're saying. Mm-hmm. So if there is a lot of talking, he gets bored.
Yeah.
He wants to see
There's
the
more
action
in AEW.
But obviously the presentation's better in WWE because
the production value.
Yeah, he's gravitating towards Drew McIntyre and Daniel Bryan, because if you look back to Daniel Bryan's entrance and does the yes thing, I mean, as a kid, that looks pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
And Drew McIntyre coming out with the freaking massive ass sword, how is my kid not going to pop to that?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I did find that very interesting, but it kind of sums up everything how it is right now, where Raw, I think, has WWE has like the production really tuned down, whatever, but the show really drags. But in AEW, I think they have better matches, more entertainment, but the lack of production value does not make my kid want to go buy any of those figures. I mean, these are my figures. He's not asking me for the Young Bucks
to play with the Young Bucks toys.
But if he sees Drew McIntyre's sword or Drew McIntyre, you know what I'm saying? He's going to want that.
Yeah. What's cooler, Drew McIntyre and his giant ass sword and his kilt and fireworks, or Dean Ambrose just wandering around with his tongue out, like stomping around?
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. So, all right, that's it for round number 3. We're going to take a short break, come back and talk about a big time UFC lightweight matchup that's finally been announced. When I saw it, I was like, hell yeah, this fight's going to happen. That's coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Let's enter the championship rounds. Time for round number 4. Timer started here. A big-time UFC lightweight matchup was finally announced this week as Justin Gaethje going to take on Michael Chandler at UFC 268, which is scheduled to take place, according to Brett Okamoto from ESPN, November 6th inside Madison Square Garden. Targeted to. We'll see where it goes here. Finally. This matchup here. Justin Gaethje.
After one guy said, you didn't sign, and the other guy said, nah, you didn't sign, and then all of a sudden, they both signed.
Yeah. And obviously, too, like, we're talking about it, too. Like, I was a big Michael Chandler fan coming in. Just how he came into the UFC left a sour taste in my mouth. First of all, being paid just to work out and make weight as a backup for, was it McGregor, Khabib, right?
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, him did not want to fight Tony Ferguson. Supposedly, I'm always going to believe Tony Ferguson, no matter how crazy he sounds. I'm always going to believe him. Getting the title shot.
By pretty much waiting it out.
Yeah.
Because the Dan Hooker fight came...
Yeah. He beats Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, now he's number one contender. Which is okay. I wasn't aware Dan Hooker was that on top, on the verge of
in the top three.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden now, like, he doesn't know who to fight next and kind of waiting it out still. Justin Gaethje, who we all thought needed an opponent. His name's never got brought up on anybody. When we're talking about, Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler, his name never got brought up. Finally, this happens now. I'm excited for this because when Michael Chandler, as good as a wrestler he is, he could be easily coerced into a stand-up striking battle.
And we have seen that Michael Chandler's been in the wrong end of some of those balls.
But also the right end too as well.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm excited for.
That's the craziest thing about Chandler. Like, he can kill you, but like, he can get caught too because we've seen him get caught.
And he can easily just take you down to the ground and out-wrestle you if he wanted to.
But here's the thing too. Gaethje supposedly is able to keep most of his fights standing up because of his wrestling background. But let's keep it real. I think if Chandler wanted to take down Gaethje, he takes him down. I don't even think Gaethje puts up much of a fight. I think Chandler puts him on the ground easily. I honestly do believe
it's
that.
just that Gaethje's a psychopath and likes to likes to knock dudes out.
But yeah, it should be a very interesting fight.
Go to the UFC rankings really quick in the lightweight division so we can see where they all officially kind of stand. So Gaethje's number 2 in the division. Chandler's at number 4. Benel Darnoush is still getting looked over, I guess.
Darnoush ain't getting no love.
Also, I just want to point out that Darnoush was, I think, outside of the top 10. Mm-hmm. He beats Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, and then
top 3, bro. Respect Tony Ferguson, everybody. I'll be talking crap about what.
That's the only time I agree. If he could beat Tony, he belong in the top.
Charles Oliveira beat Tony Ferguson. Guess what? Now champion. Again, you better put respect to Tony Ferguson's name when you're talking about him.
In all honesty, they need to give Darush Dustin Poirier on the real. Dustin, you want to fight? I see he goes up against Darush.
I like it. Yeah. Well, I mean, supposedly he's going to get Oliveira next, so.
Ooh.
Because he beat McGregor. McGregor's a champion.
I don't know, man.
The championship prize is McGregor. Unless you want Dustin Poirier to. You know what? That's a good point.
I don't know. See,
you know what?
I get that he beat Conor, but
that's not really saying much nowadays, is it? Yeah.
And not only that, Conor wasn't even ranked that high to begin with. When they fought, like before the loss, Conor wasn't in the top 5.
Yeah.
So why would you give Dustin the championship? See what I mean? That's why you kind of. I get he's the number 1 ranked fighter, but why? Because he's coming off the interim win after 2 losses, or
so basically that's a really good point. Dustin Poirier has fought Conor McGregor, who's not championship caliber. So like, in actuality, we're not really sure how how Poirier stacks up against the likes of a Charles Oliveira, a Justin Gaethje, a Darnoush as of right now, or Islam Makhachev at the moment, right? Because he's been fighting McGregor for this past year now, who is definitely not in the top 5 of the lightweight division. So maybe you did give him Darnoush to see where do you stand when it comes to top competition? I like that though. That's a good thinking. But of course you can't do that because that devalues McGregor. Because a win over McGregor, you're a champion. You're the champion of the universe.
You gotta get something out of it. But at the same time, you don't want to also ice Charles Oliveira. He got to fight someone. And to tell you the truth, I even think Islam still has to prove himself too. I know he says that nobody wants to fight him,
Darnoush,
but he has to prove himself too. He needs to fight someone in the top 5. But anyways, going back to the original topic, Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje, I think this is a title eliminator. If Michael Chandler loses,
for Gaethje, Chandler,
I think Chandler too.
Really?
If Chandler loses, you have to make some kind of second run to prove that you can go against the title, don't you think? I think if Michael Chandler loses, he has to go to death row and go all the way down to Kevin Lee and work your way up, bro.
Click on Chandler real quick to see his
I'm bringing up Chandler right now.
That's a good photograph. Basically, obviously lost the interim or the title. It wasn't interim, it was a title fight.
And then the win against Hooker.
That's it.
In UFC.
Yeah.
And then I think going to UFC, he lost to Pet Bull. So that's what I'm saying.
Chandler does have a lot to prove still.
That's what I'm saying. I think this is a title eliminator, to tell you the truth. If Gaethje loses, well, I hope you enjoyed that fight with Tony Ferguson, because that's the only way you making it back, bro.
Yeah. if Chandler wins and is back in the title shot or gets an immediate title shot, that is Dana White privilege, bro.
Seriously.
That's it for round number 4. We got one more round coming up. We're going to preview UFC 265. Don't go anywhere. That's coming up next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. 5th and final round. UFC 265 takes place this Saturday, August 7th, live in the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. New main event now. Main event was supposed to be Amanda Nunes versus Juliette Pena. Nunes got a really bad case of COVID-19, so that's going to be postponed until whenever she's feeling better. I think they're targeting towards the end of the year. Speedy recovery to the champ.
This
so we can kind of see this fight happen.
Just so you know, this is like the third major fight that has to be postponed or suspended because of COVID. Tyson Fury, it happened to him. Tomo Lopez, same thing. And these are like high profile fighters. There's a lot at stake with these 3 fights that were postponed because of COVID.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make any damn sense to me, bro.
It's like at this point now,
Come on.
It's like wearing your seatbelt. You got to wear your seatbelt when you drive, bro.
You got too much.
Take the precautions.
Yeah, but you got too much on the line. Not just that, but there's potential history in the making. And I'm just frustrated, bro.
Yeah. Speedy recovery to Amanda Nunes. Now the new main event. Derek Lewis versus Cyril Gane for the interim UFC heavyweight championship. So with the removal of the bantamweight women's championship between Nunes and Pena, this
before we leave, just before
has gone from a non-pay-per-view worthy event, right?
But I really do think they should have done interim. If we're throwing
interim for what?
For the bantamweight for the women's.
Who are they gonna put?
I don't care. Like, let Juliette Pena fight for the belt, though. My girl deserves it. And second of all, I mean, we're throwing interims left and right. Why not? I mean, it makes
Can the UFC have 2? Is that happened for 2 interim titles in one card?
It would make it spicy when Amanda comes back, because now not only does she have a fight set up, she has to technically win her belt back. I don't know. I just think it would have made more sense to me.
It's a little too gimmicky, I think, for Dana White.
Hey, sometimes you have to get. What do you call this main event? It's a straight up gimmick. You know for a fact that this shouldn't even be an interim fight.
True. I agree. They put it on there just for the pay-per-view value.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, it bit him in the butt. I'm glad. Actually, that shows to you can't be putting this interim titles on anything like that. So, Derek Lewis, Cyril Gane.
And with that said, though, look, Derek Lewis is one of my favorite fighters. Gane is on his way up to like potentially being a big threat in this division, but like it's kind of tainted because you didn't give the champion a shot. Supposedly his management didn't communicate to him about the days or whatnot, but it just feels weird that I don't know. Like you would think, like this is your heavyweight champion.
He's not even. He's not hurt. There's no COVID. Yeah. He's just hanging back here.
Let's clear everything with my heavyweight champion. This is not middleweight, welterweight, lightweight. This is my heavyweight champion.
Who's not hurt again? Yeah. He's not hurt. Nothing.
Should I not make sure and clear everything before I made this matchup? I get that they want the John Jones thing, and that's really the fight to make. But it just, I don't know. It's just a bad taste. And I'm a big Derek Lewis fan. I've been watching Gane do his work. It's just, I don't know. This whole...
Like, it's almost like if I were Francis, I wouldn't show up to this event. I would like just live stream it. So you guys know I'm healthy. I have nothing wrong with me. I had no post-surgery recovery like that. I'm good. Mm-hmm. They just decided to put this belt on them just for a gimmick. And I'm the real heavyweight champion. So good luck to both those guys. And I'll fight whoever's next, I guess. But I don't know. Should be a good fight. I don't know. I think this would be obviously the biggest test of Gane's career. He's so young in his career. Like, I think it's just 6 years that he might not even know the magnitude of it. So it might give him an advantage. But then Derek Lewis all needs is one, bro.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think this is Derek Lewis's last chance.
Oh, yeah,
he's had a couple of chances
for that championship level.
Yeah, to stay there, stay in that championship level. I think this is his last shot, and he's in his hometown. So I think Derek Lewis is going to get it done. To tell you the truth, but if Derek Lewis gets it done, I don't think it hurts Gain in any way. I think he's just 2 more fights away, and he could probably get back in the same position. Yeah. While Derek Lewis, I think if he loses, it's going to be a tough road back.
Co-main event: Jose Aldo versus Pedro Munoz. Bantamweight bout. I don't. Top of my head, I can't remember. Has Aldo ever gone head to head with TJ Dillashaw?
No.
Now they're both in bantamweight division now, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's ever done.
I'm thinking, dude, if
winner faces TJ.
Yeah, I like it.
That's a good match. I like it too. I like that a lot.
In the bantamweight division, Jose Aldo is currently ranked number 5. So if he wins, I like TJ versus Aldo. I like it.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Whoever wins that gets TJ. But then again, TJ messed up his knee, so who knows how long he's gonna be.
He had a cut coming in, right? Yeah, and he wasn't healthy at all.
And then Michael Chiesa doing the welterweight run here. I don't know. Hopefully, welterweight is his weight to be in, but I think that's gonna be a very good fight. Tisha Torres trying to keep it hot. Angela Hill. Is there a card she's not on?
She's like, she fights every other weekend, doesn't she?
And but I don't think there's enough meat.
Is it just me, or does the UFC really like Casey Kenny?
Oh, dude, they love
for a guy who's unranked. He's like, why is he always on the main card?
Well, him and Angela Hill, or
Angela Hill's like she's ranked 12 at least.
Okay,
but Casey Kenny's not even ranked,
and he finds his way.
And remember, he went on that podcast and was talking like inappropriate about Megan Anderson. Yeah, and, like, they still put him on the main. Yeah. And go to the prelims really quick. I thought I saw the prelims were looking pretty good.
Yeah, but I'm not ordering this.
Bobby Green,
friend of the show,
former guest.
I got Ed Herman and Jessica Pena.
Jessica Pena.
Carolina. I think this is it. I think if this is win or lose for her. I think
for Carolina, and then the early prelims, which on UFC Fight Pass. Yeah, it's kind of a.
It's a lackluster.
It's a diehard card.
Yeah, I think
for diehards
true UFC fans will tune in for this one. I'm not ordering that main card. I think the heavyweight, it's gonna be so fast that
it's not worth $70.
Yeah,
you can't. UFC this whole time, you can't be putting one title on. At least 2 titles.
And again, it's that
$2 real champion.
It's that $70. And honestly, it's a $70 price point. You put this at $40, I buy it all day.
Yeah,
$70, I can't do it.
Maybe they should different tier pay-per-views, right?
Yeah, seriously.
All right, that's it for this week's show. Wow, a lot to digest, man. The wrestling. If you're a professional wrestling fan now, it's exciting because now the talents finally have places to go.
Yeah.
Granted, there are no more surprises anymore because the dirt sheets are so prevalent that it would have been cool for CM Punk to come out of nowhere.
That pop would have been
just a complete surprise.
It's ridiculous.
I think the most we can get now is somebody's been released and expect them to return. We just don't know when, like Malachi Black did. That was like the surprise because it just happened sooner than later.
Tree falls in the forest is making a sound. I don't know.
It's true, but I mean, like, it's cool, but like again, the fans are so spoiler addicted that we ruin it for ourselves.
The crazy part is
we want to know what's gonna happen.
I refuse to be spoiled when I'm watching like Low Key or WandaVision. I refuse anybody to even talk about it. I ignore any little title that has it online. I ignore it, even when Game of Thrones was on.
Yeah, and
I refuse to get spoiled. But for some reason, wrestling, I'm like, as soon as I see the first like
spoiler alert,
click, dude, and pretty much I know the whole story. I don't know.
It's weird. It's because you got to be in the know because you got to be a smart Mark. That's why. Because there's another Mark out there who knows more than you. Like, oh, you didn't know that? You didn't know that was gonna happen? Oh yeah, because you're not a Mark after all.
Is that it though? It really, I don't know. Because like,
probably what it is.
It does kill me. Like if I don't know.
Yeah. What I love too is that we'll read all the dirt sheets and know what's gonna happen, and then still have the nerve to post a reaction video and post it somewhere. Oh, I didn't know this was gonna happen. Oh my god. But hey,
I'm still popping for Daniel Bryan.
Oh, me too. But people are trying to akin it to the Monday Night Wars. It's never going to be like that because we know too much.
Because back then you had to get it via mail, right? Then you had to like had your shout out to Augie who that SOB convinced his parents or someone signed him up.
Get the actual newsletter.
Yeah, he used to spoil the stuff. Like first of all, he tried to hide like if he like knew something. I was like, but then when I found out about the Observer, I was like, you son of a gun.
This is back in junior high.
Yeah, you. I wonder you knew. And like I mean, internet was barely a new thing for us, so I didn't know what websites to go to or whatever. So when the kids didn't know, I was like, man. And there's no way I was going to convince my parents to subscribe to me to some newsletter.
Some wrestling newsletter.
Yeah, they wouldn't even get it. Like, what? You want me to pay for what?
But like I said, well, enjoy it. It's fun stuff. Now we see these wrestlers, artists kind of have different canvases to paint on, which is fun now. So that's it for this week's show. Thank you all for tuning in, whether it be on audio format, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podomatic. Wherever you get your audio versions, we are on there. And if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment too. Let us know if we're wrong about something, or if you have a good Bray Wyatt match, please recommend them to me. I want to know. The card's going to be running out pretty soon. So that's it for this week's show. Thank you to Foxhound Fuel. Go to foxhoundfuel.com. Go to enter promo code 5MMA for 25% off your order, and go to wildbar.co. Enter promo code 5roundMMA15 for 15% off your order. Foxhound Fuel, Wildbar. Thank you so much for sponsoring the show. Albert, what do you got?
Before you go ahead and swipe delete on this app, because once you download it, you listen to it. I know I don't like to hold on to my phone. Go down and give us a 5-star review real quick. Even if you just put awesome podcast, that'll be awesome.
Thank you so much. See you guys next week.
Thanks for tuning in.